So we have here, we're actually going to be seeing the perspective of Sneak, who is I believe the team leader of the Reapz team. These guys are in a custom lobby. It says PS4 Scrims. Sneak finds a blue pump shotgun immediately. That is incredible luck. They went ahead and landed at Fatal Fields. It's a location that typically you won't find a lot of players at. You have locations such as the house. There's only one house, so they call it house. There's the rock field. There's a stable. Sneak is actually getting shot at by another player. As I was saying, that's often you don't see a lot of players drop here. Immediately getting shot at by another player. That's the constant scene. Sneak lands on a shotgun while the other player seems to only have a silenced SMG. Sneak takes a go ahead and gets a quick shot off. Very fortunate for Sneak to find a shotgun right away. However, with only a shotgun, trying to get shots off at long range against another player, it's going to be really tough for Sneak to cover that distance with just a pump shotgun. Pump shotgun is a shotgun that you probably would want, or with a heavy shotgun in this situation. If you only have one gun in the game, shotguns are typically what you'd want. Sneak has teammates who have better ranged weapons, more equipped to handle that other player off the distance. So what Sneak's doing instead is gathering some resources. He's sitting at about 100 mats total. That's about 10 building items worth of materials. It's 10 mats per wall or ramp or anything you build. So 100 divided by 10, there you go. That's how many things you can build. 10 is not very much. Sneak is still sitting on not very much to work with, but his team is in trouble right now. Lovin and Bells are down. It's actually 2 versus what's probably 2 on the enemy team. Sneak taking a shotgun right to the close range on the enemy player, has an AR. They do clean up the other team. Unfortunately, Lovin was thirsted right away by the enemy team. They are able to pick up Bells right away. Sneak is sitting really low on HP. Hopefully they'll be able to find some kind of healing options. I do believe I found or was able to see a shield pot on the ground. We'll see as they go ahead and loot out the enemy bodies of what they can actually find. Yeah, indeed, there right. There's some bandages as well as a shield pot. Sneak's going to go ahead and use the bandages, bandage up a little bit. Should probably share those with Bells as well, and maybe Big Mo, depending on what Mo's HP is at. I don't know if he's quite at 75 or not yet. But Sneak will be able to get 75 here. You'll probably go ahead and use up one more bandage just to get those extra 2 HP. You never really know with how shotgun ranges are, damage fall off even for ARs. 2 HP right there matters. And you have 6 more bandages in the tank here. Got some mini shields as well. That's super good for Sneak here. Only 1, unfortunately, but that's still better than nothing. 75 versus 100 is definitely a big difference. I don't know why Sneak isn't quite sharing the bandages with Bells here. It seems like quite an oversight. Maybe Sneak just doesn't realize it. Maybe Bells found a med kit or a chug jug or something of the sort. I don't really know why Sneak isn't sharing these bandages with Bells actively. Maybe it's because if they went ahead and scouted out the farm and saw that no other teams land here, they probably feel comfortable, probably feel safe. They're probably trying to look for other resources for recovery options, such as a medkit or a chug jug. Confidently knowing that there's no other teams around. Sneak is checking the silos, trying to see if there's maybe a chest or some hidden items within there. He's checking all of these sheds while also constantly harvesting. Harvesting materials while looting is very good to do. A lot of top players tend to find optimal routes to use. They try to loot effectively while farming materials just to save on time. Sneak's sitting pretty good. He has an AR for through the medium to long range shots, the engagements. He also has a pump shotgun as well as a tac shotgun. Excuse me. Very good. I've explained before, the pump shotgun is amazing for one shot, high damage. You can almost one shot somebody at 100, the 200 effective HP, 100 shields, 100 HP. Almost can one pump them. They did nerf it indeed. The tac shotgun is amazing for close quarters combat. A lot of spraying going on. It shoots the faster than any other shotgun. So it's very effective for having a pump shotgun and a tac. Plus, if you have 2 shotguns with the pump shotgun being one of them, you'll be able to shoot the pump shotgun, switch to another shotgun and shoot, and then be able to switch back to the pump shotgun and shoot again. That actually is faster. You can get out more shotgun shots than if you just sat on one single pump shotgun, and that would be about as fast as having just one tac shotgun as well. It's a little bit more effort to switch between shotguns. However, because the pump does more damage with that single shot than a tac does, it's very useful to have that pump with you as well, not just with the tac shotgun. So in case you only have the time to peek and get one shot off, the pump will be far more optimal and far more effective than just the tac shotgun. let alone the fact that they were actually really low on shotgun ammo. I don't know what the situation is with Big Mo and Bells. I don't know if they'll have any shotgun ammo to share with Sneaks. I imagine that they would have go ahead and explained this and communicated this with each other. It does seem like Bells did find more options for recovery, such as bandages, is now at full shielding. Looks like he found some apples to get close to 100, same as what Sneaks just did. Apples, in case you didn't know, was a recent addition to Fortnite. You'll be able to find apples in wood areas such as where Sneak is right now, near big trees. Apples do give you 5 HP per apple and can get you all the way up to 100. So it's very good. If you're just sitting on bandages and you find some apples to get you above 75 HP, that's a big deal. Very, very useful to find those apples. Very lucky for Sneak here. It seems like one of Sneak's teammates is sitting at 999 wood because as they are farming trees, wood is being left behind, not in large quantities either. So it's not like they dropped wood for Sneak. It doesn't look like Sneak would need it. So this basically just means that Sneak's team is sitting at a really good amount of mats. Sneak is just checking the vending machine, see if there's anything useful there. Doesn't see anything that he would want that costs wood. Wood is in plentiful resource there for Sneak and his team right now for the Reapz squad. But if there's no good wood option, it's better to go ahead and sit on the high amount of wood, since that's the only type of material that Sneak has large quantities of. The minigun, Sneak goes ahead and drops it, probably picking it back up after popping the shield pot. Sneak is sitting at a really good loadout here, but it's very risky. Actually, better case there. Picks up the bandages back up. Very smart to go back and grab some recovery options. It's good to have a recovery option at all times, considering the fact that if you ever get in a fight and you don't have a recovery option, I was about to touch on how like his build was going to be risky there. If you don't have recovery options, then it's really hard to get back into the fight or be in good sitting for further fights. If you win the fight, you don't have a guarantee that the enemy team had any kind of recovery options themselves for you to pick up to recover after the fight. Recovery options being HP healing or shielding options, of course. I like to classify them all as just recovery options for clarification purposes. Sneak goes ahead and drops a double shotgun combo. Decides to go have a nice actual balanced loadout here. I love this a lot. Something that is a problem with running double shotgun is you have to sacrifice some other kind of category of weapon. What Sneak has here is every category of everything you'd want. We have a close quarters option with a tac shotgun. We have a medium to long range option with the burst rifle. We have a very long range option with the bolt action sniper. And you have a sieging option with the grenade launcher, as well as a recovery option, which is good for reasons that I just now explained. Sneak right now has an answer to any situation he can find himself in. He has a large amount of materials, especially the wood, which is really good for pushing, being an aggressive player, because there's the highest base on placement HP and builds to full HP the fastest, while it doesn't have the highest full build HP such as the metal option does. But typically in a build fight and high pressure situations and aggressive fights, wood is the best option for players to go with typically. So he has building options. He can get to high ground advantage if he needs to. He can build cover if he needs to. If the enemy is close range on him, he has a tac shotgun to spray in the close range. If they're in medium range, he has a burst rifle. He can go ahead and take people out very quickly if he lands those shots, especially if they're all headshots. He has a bolt action sniper to be able to scout out areas, be able to see farther ranges, farther views, to be able to see the surroundings better for his team and for himself, of course. While also having a one-shot capability at very long range, that is incredibly useful, especially if the other team is turtling and covering themselves with cover very effectively, playing very slow and passively, punishing the aggression from Sneaks and his team. Bolt action sniper is very good. And another really good option for teams such as what I just explained, playing very passive, covering very well. Wow, Big Mo actually found an enemy. It did seem weird that they were checking out the house there, trying to find an enemy. They probably heard the footsteps. Big Mo puts down an enemy player immediately, very effectively. Great job of Big Mo. And is still sitting at 100, 200 effective HP. Great play. Very precise, very clean. To finish off what I was talking about, the siege option, which is the grenade launcher, stuff like rocket launchers, stuff like C4, hand grenades, the sticky plunger grenades. Siege options are very good. If you want to be very aggressive, you want to punish enemy team that has like a down player that's sitting behind cover. You don't quite know if they're going to be sitting there waiting to pop out with a third person peeking to punish you when you push on them. If you want to just apply pressure straight up on the enemy, sieging options are amazing, especially a grenade launcher. Grenade launcher is actually probably my favorite thing to have in my inventory, myself as a player. I'm a very aggressive player. Sneaks finding more apples, probably not taking them right now. Doesn't really want to take the moment to sit there and grab apples. They don't really know their surroundings quite yet. There might have enemy players in the vicinity, so he doesn't want to stand there exposed for even that 1 to 2 seconds that it takes to eat the apple. That's a questionable decision, but it's a player choice and very justified in Sneak's decision there. They also have to run from the zone that's currently chasing them. They have a very long way to run for safety, so that's probably also something that goes into Sneak's mindset there for not grabbing the apple. One way or another, either way, it would have been a good decision. Sneak just decided to go ahead and keep moving, keep being a moving target, harder to shoot down. Doesn't know the surroundings, has to run from the zone. Makes sense. But yeah, the grenade launcher definitely can kill people behind the cover, destroy enemy cover very effectively, especially at very long ranges, applies constant pressure on the enemies, so they always have to look for where the grenades are. Means less time that they're looking at you when you're pushing towards them, so that's less time that they'll be shooting at you. So it's basically covering your own self with suppressing fire as you push towards the enemy team. So you can pop grenades while pushing and go ahead and shoot their barriers, the barricades down with your AR, and then go back to the full auto shotgun there to go ahead and keep the pressure going as you get close. Sneaks did go ahead and make the decision to drop the burst rifle for the full auto AR. That is, in my opinion, a player choice. I don't think that's quite a meta decision. I think the burst rifles are very useful for their own regard, but they're not very good in regards to pressuring. Like I was just saying, you can shoot down people with walls. Finds a blue shotgun upgrade, very good for Sneaker. For Sneaks, I apologize, I was going by his old name. For Sneaks just keeps finding the blue items here. Blew it out of his mind. He doesn't quite have shield pots though, so he's setting on the bandages instead. But anyways, the full auto AR, there's first shot accuracy. So if you take your time, pace your shots, you have perfect accuracy at incredible ranges. Even though there is damage fall off, you still can land all your shots if you aim them correctly. If you're sitting still, crouching, you get first shot accuracy, very good. That makes, in general, people would prefer the full auto AR over the burst because of that alone. Also, the full auto AR can spray enemy structures down, so it makes it really hard for them to turtle, for them to cover themselves defensively with barricades, with walls, with roofs, so you can apply pressure on people and just really punish them. Of course, finds another blue item, the shield pot. Called it earlier. Sneaks is the only player on his team that's not at 108 shielding, so Sneaks goes ahead and tops off, decides to not hold on to the shield pot because he does have bandages to also hold. Can't hold them both with this loadout here, so he goes ahead and tops off to 100 shielding, 85 HP, 185 effective HP. It's actually super smart because he has other recovery options, because shrooms and apples exist. Unfortunately, he does find a shroom right there. Shrooms are effectively what apples are for HP, 5 per, but they're for shields instead, and they can also get you up to 100 shielding. Sneaks does find a lot of shrooms laid off on the ground. He's probably kicking himself in the butt because he could have probably held on to the shield pot at this point and just grabbed the shrooms instead. But it's okay. Sneaks didn't know that those shrooms are going to be there. He didn't want to take the risk of leaving the bandages behind in case he didn't find shrooms. So he made the statistically smart and safer play instead of taking the risk for potentially better optimization. It's a play that I probably would have made myself, especially in a competitive environment where you're playing really smart, you're playing for the win. You do want to take less risks. You want to play smarter, play to the odds, play to the statistics, and that's what Sneak definitely did right there. Right now, what you'll see Reapz' team doing is they're just roaming around. They're playing the edge. They're not going straight into the zone quite yet because they're scouting the area. They're checking to see if other players are around. They don't want to go straight into the zone because they don't want to get pinched by the players who are doing exactly what Sneaks' team is doing, the Reapz team right now. They're currently just skating the zone, playing the edge, making sure nobody else is coming in, nobody else is going to pinch them, nobody else is going to shoot them in the back as they go in the zone. They're just kind of buying time. This game is about survival, so while you'll see a lot of times in just kind of random queues, non-scrim environments, you'll see a lot of people who just kind of go in the zone right away and look for fights constantly. I believe Reapz isn't going to be scared of fights, of course. They'll take fights when they need to. It's just that they're playing smart. They're playing to the game. They're playing to the survival mindset. They're playing the zone effectively. So they're keeping on the edge. They're keeping on the outside. They don't want to quite put themselves in the middle and get pinched by numerous different teams, which is an extreme disadvantage if you're in the middle of many different teams shooting at many different angles. You, as much as possible, want the enemy teams that you're fighting to be in one angle, one side. If anything, you want your team to be able to get different angles on the enemy team, because the more angles that you have on the enemy team, the more likely you're able to get a quick shot off for free that they're not behind cover for. And then vice versa, if you're in this position where you're getting angled by enemy teams a lot, then it's harder for you to provide effective cover for yourself to properly defend. Right now, Reapz has found another team that they're actually going ahead and engaging. They're building up high ground. That's very effective, very smart. You always want high ground over the enemy team. Sneaks actually got taken down. His cover was being shot down. His ramps, as he was building a high ground, was shot down, so he actually took a fall there. Luckily, no HP damage. It wasn't that high, but he did lose height advantage a little bit. Currently, Sneaks is kind of trying to find enemy teams where they are. He does see the ramps being built up towards him. He is currently trying to build his way out of this bad situation to try to get back high ground, to find himself back up. It seems like he might be panicking a little bit. He's messing up a little bit of his building, getting a little sloppy, but he's recovering effectively. Watch out for that trap. Almost ran into it. I don't know what the comms are. I don't know if they called out or not. Currently, I don't know if that was an ally trap or not. He finds an enemy player on the ground in that tac shotgun fight. As I was explaining before, tac shotgun is very effective. He was able to shoot it very fast, faster than any other shotgun can, and was able to get a lot of shots off on the enemy player. The enemy player had a pump shotgun standalone. Like I was saying before, pump shotgun can do a lot of damage, but he didn't have a lot of shots. So if you miss your one shot, you're in a lot of trouble against an enemy player who's spraying a lot of shots with their tac shotgun. Sinks very effectively, very smart, goes out and thirsts the enemy player instantly, gets his materials, gets his resources, gets his ammo. There's no friendliness here. There's no reason to not thirst an enemy player, essentially. While Sinks was doing that, we did see Reapz' team go ahead and take out a lot of the enemy team. I didn't quite see if the enemy team isn't completely eliminated or if there might be another player lingering, but I do believe they did get all of the players. I do believe it was an instant elim. No, there is one more player left alone. They were trying to find them. He was just down, jumping around like a bunny rabbit on the high ground. The enemy player takes down Sneaks. There's actually two enemy players. Maybe it's another team entirely at this point. Sneaks did get popped up. The other player did have high ground. As I was explaining before, has total cover, had essentially what we call a head glitch, and was able to take down Sneaks quickly and effectively. There's two players, in fact. Big Mo taking out another player. Sneaks currently trying to survive for his life, does not want to be found by an enemy team. They will thirst him instantly. Like I said before, why Sneaks didn't thirst the enemy player, they'll do the same thing to Sneaks without hesitation. Sneaks currently seems to be protected. Bells and Big Mo are looking to cover. Did take down one of the enemy players. There's at least one more enemy player on the enemy team. Sneaks drops down, takes a lot of HP damage. It seems like he thought probably that he was able to go ahead and maybe while crawling go to the other platform there, but it sneaks through the crack. He had to make a move regardless, though, because the blue was coming in on him. He had to make a move because the blue would have killed him regardless. Unfortunately, there wasn't quite enough platformings for him to not fall, take that HP damage, and did die before he was able to quite make it out of the zone. It looks like a 2v4, the 6 players remaining, 2 of which are, of course, Bells and Big Mo. There aren't quite sure, probably that there's only one team left. Maybe there's two. With my current view, I'm unable to find out myself. We can go ahead and assume that there's a team of 4. Probably worst case scenario is it's one team of 4 versus their team of 2. But based on the things going on right now, it might be 2 teams. It doesn't seem like Big Mo and Bells are doing a lot of exploding options there, but the other team was falling down. Maybe Big Mo did something that I didn't quite see. I'm not able to freely look around. Bells sitting at 4 HP. This is going to be a tough one. Big Mo is a 76. That's not very much either. I wonder if the Mohawk is tall enough for him to be seen when he's speaking out like that. They do not have zone advantage. This is looking very bad for the Reapz squad here. This will probably be a top 2, at least top 3 situation as far as teams go. They do have to move for the zone, though. The enemy team that they see over there is building 1-by-1s. They're effectively setting up a defensive situation and forts them for themselves. They recognize the situation with the zone. They have the advantage. Reapz does have to push towards them. It looks like it's probably a team of 4, at least a team of 3, maybe a solos hiding out somewhere else. But they're setting up, they're controlling the environment. They're ready to shoot and punish the Reapz boys as the mates try to push towards the enemy team. The blue is coming in. Big Mo's in a tough spot right here. He has to edit himself out. He's taking damage from that zone. That's a lot of damage. That was the final team. It was a team of 4. It's just a tough situation for Reapz, for Bells and Big Mo there. Bells was 1 shot. The zone was going to tick for 5. It was going to start ticking for 7 after the zone completed as well. So Bells was 1 shot by the zone itself, and it was 1 shot by the enemy team setup, able to get free shots on them as they had to push in from the zone. Very smart play by the team that won, but good on Reapz to get out of a lot of bad situations. They were able to get a 2nd place. That is definitely a very good showing by the Reapz Warriors right here for the first scrim.